So they go up and they say, okay, I'm going to be confident. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to be confident. Then they try to force it and they walk up, hi. And there's this big blast of tension and energy, right? It's a little overwhelming. Have you had that happen before?
A lot.
Yeah. So what's your name? My name is Brian. And there's this force of energy. That's too much tension. So this video is part 2 in a series. The first video was on connection. This one's going to be on tension and vulnerability. The next one's going to be on testing, and the one after that's going to be on transferring emotion, or something that's called positive inception. And this is the beautiful Lily.
Hello.
And she's going to be my co-host guest for the next for these 4 videos. And so we're going to get into it right away. We're going to start talking about tension. One of the biggest mistakes nice guys make is they're trying to get all the tension out of communication. They think if the less tension they create, the nicer they are, that the more she's going to feel comfortable with them and the more she's going to enjoy her time with them. But actually, that couldn't be further from the truth. Without tension, we don't have any fun. Tension is essential in life to have fun. Think about it in terms of a massage. If you get a good massage, there's a certain amount of tension implied. Imagine if there's too little and you take all the tension out and you barely touch. Maybe you don't touch at all. At some point, it's going to start to get boring. And the opposite is true too. If there's too much tension, if I'm just grinding my elbow in there as deep as I can, at a certain point, it's going to become too painful. So in communication, it's the same thing. If I take all the tension out of communication, it starts to become boring. We need a certain amount of tension. We need a certain amount of tension to spike and play. When you're playing with somebody, there's tension. When you're watching your favorite movie, if they took all the tension out of the movie, imagine how boring it would be. Think of any action film with no tension in it. Is it even an action film? Think of any drama or romantic comedy with no tension in it. Is it even a romantic film at that point? Because there's nothing really going on. The act of me just looking at her and looking into her and narrowing my gaze a little bit to say hi is going to create a little bit of tension. If I get rid of all the tension, I'd actually have to start kind of not looking at her and trying to dissipate the tension and pull back like this a little bit, which is something we talked about in the last video, how I'm trying to kill the tension. The tension is an amazing tool. It's a conduit. Could you transfer water through the hose without the hose? The hose is the tension that transfers the water. Now, if the tension becomes too much, I'm gonna have you turn a little bit, and I'm looking at her, and it becomes too much, this is what a lot of guys do when they try to do this. This is when somebody says, just be confident. Okay, I just want you to be confident. So they go up and they say, okay, I'm gonna be confident. I'm gonna talk to her, I'm gonna be confident. Then they try to force it and they walk up, hi. And there's this big blast of tension and energy, right? It's a little overwhelming. Have you had that happen before?
A lot.
Yeah. So what's your name? My name is Brian. And there's this force of energy. That's too much tension. See, this room is kind of mellow. It's kind of quiet. So we got to play with the energy that's in the room. So when I walk up, if I have too little tension on the other side, hi, my name is Brian. What's your name? What does that feel like?
You just seem disinterested.
Yeah. What happened? I literally, if I'm going to do this to the camera, I just kind of zone out. And I'm like, hi. This is one I used to do all the time. I lived in this space and it was horrible. I didn't know I lived in it. Okay. And I had to be shown there's a way out. So there's really this sweet space, and you get good at it by feeling it, not by logically interpreting how to do it. So when I walk up and I start to feel, if I have too much tension, there's not going to be any emotion between us. If I have too little tension, it's just going to be like if a riverbank or a river lost its riverbanks and all the water dissipated and just flooded out. But there's a sweet spot where the energy seems to transfer and it slides along like water through a hose or electricity through a wire, and it just goes along. And right here, I can almost look into her a little bit if she's willing to let me. And I can say hi. And there can be this little moment of circulation of energy where we're actually playing together. You can shake her hand at that point, or you can offer to. She'll feel the connection. And you can see her when she's accepting you in, and that's what makes it beautiful. And she might push back a little bit. She might kind of play with it. She might play with it a lot at first. What does it feel like when I do this?
Comfortable.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Good. Good. And so comfortable in does it get you curious at all? Okay, good.
A little bit, yeah.
Good. Now you can add tension to this, guys. You can increase tension, you can decrease tension. As I stand here and I start to drop lower into my body and I start to add a little extra tension, does this change the feeling at all? What's the difference?
You just seem, I don't know, you just seem more open and I'm more interested.
More interested. Can you feel more tension coming your way? I increased it just a little bit. And what I actually did was I dropped it lower in my body a little bit. And I pushed a little bit with that tension. And just enough for her to feel a little increase in tension. And the reason that's important is because if I want to increase the tension, lower in the body is going to bring more sexual tension. Higher in the body is going to bring more heart. I had a lot of heart in the previous interaction. Lower in the body brings more, like right down here, brings more of that sense of turn on or mass or penetrating energy. You need some of both to get a girl attracted. If you just bring one, then if I just bring all heart, I might make a good friend. If I bring all turn on, I might scare her away. But if I have the two together, it can have this little like pull or push or pull on it and play and dance and groundedness. Can you feel the difference between the two? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So watch, I'm going to play with this really quick so you guys can see it. This is heart. I'm going to come all the way up here. Hi. And do you feel how that's much more light? Okay. Now I'm going to come down here. Okay, now I'm going to come down here. Let that turn up a little bit. And so if I come from down here more, hi.
Hi.
Can you feel the difference?
Yes.
What's the difference?
You seem more vulnerable that time.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's interesting. You said vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Do you feel the energy coming from down here?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's interesting that I feel more vulnerable with the turn-on energy, because this energy up here is usually the vulnerable energy. But it might be that I know, because the turn-on energy has a certain amount of vulnerability in it too. Because there's a certain amount of embarrassment you can go through or shame you can go through. And even me, after all these years of work today, will go through that stuff. When I look at somebody and there's a sense of real attraction or turn on, that vulnerability will be there. Okay, so it's an interesting insight. So the energy's changed depending on who you're being. So as I walk up again and just drop in down here, say hi, there's a different energy there. Now, if I want to increase tension, first off, hi is a great way to create tension. If I walk up and just say hi, and then pause for 3 seconds, say hi with feeling, slowly, and then pause. Hi. This is going to create tension. Now, if I want to create tension right off the bat, I can walk up right in my lower body, my heart, and just say, you look like trouble. And that will create tension. Why? Because I'm poking at her. I'm creating a spike of energy. Does this make sense? And there's a million things you could say. I don't really do much of that anymore, but depending on what you want to say, you can say anything to spike the tension. So an example of this, if we play a little bit of a game, I'm going to take your hand. So we play a little bit of a game, and I'll say, I'm going to say a sentence. This is a game you can play to get good with tension. You look like trouble. You say something back.
Really?
Really? No? Wait, you're innocent? You look...
Yeah.
Yeah. I see a little bit of innocence back there, but mostly trouble. Lots of trouble, actually.
At all.
I think I know you pretty well.
No, you don't.
I don't?
No.
I'd like to get to know you.
And?
It's your turn. You're supposed to say something. It's now your turn. And is that it? Is that all you're going to say? And?
Yes. Oh, I'm waiting to see what you're going to do.
I'm waiting to see what you're going to do.
What if I don't do anything?
Then we'll just have to stare at each other for a very long time. And who knows what'll happen then. That's right. So what we're doing here is a little game we play where we're going back and forth with tension. Just back and forth, practicing, and one sentence at a time. Getting used to, and what the key here is, if she says something that bothers me, then my job is to pause for a second and relax into it, not rush out the next sentence. If I can't feel and relax down the front of my body, then I don't say the next sentence till I can relax. And you can do this with a guy too, practicing tension back and forth. It doesn't matter. You don't have to hold his hands, of course, but you can do that. So I could say anything. I can just say hi, and then just sit.
Hello.
And then I can just play with pauses. Because what am I doing when I play with pauses? I'm learning to relax into the tension. The longer the pause, the more tension. The lower I feel in my body, the better the quality of the tension. If I go way up, if I feel my energy rise up, then I want to wait until I can relax down before I respond again, because she feels that difference. If I go up here, hi, see, my energy just rose up. It's a subtle difference, but it's huge to her. And I'm like, you look like trouble. Now I'm up my neck and head, pretty much, upper chest.
And all the pauses in the world wouldn't matter.
Exactly.
Be like, okay.
Now I'm going to do it again. Hi. Actually got to relax a little more. I was still up a little bit. She knew it. Hi.
Hi.
You are trouble. You don't just look like trouble.
So matter of fact.
That's right. I like the way you wiggle your head like that. Reminds me of a bobblehead from a car.
A bobblehead.
Yeah, you make a good bobblehead. I keep you on my dashboard. Nice and safe.
Is the dashboard safe in your car?
Very safe.
We get into an accident.
Oh, not me. No, I wouldn't let that happen.
Sometimes you don't have control.
Me? I don't have control?
Well, what if someone hits you while in the car?
Yeah, life is a risk, isn't it?
True.
I might get distracted staring at your bobblehead and get in an accident. That would be horrible.
Explain that to police.
That's right. I was just staring into her eyes, and she kept wiggling her head. I couldn't stop looking at that wiggle. And then, boom. Okay. So do you see? It's all about relaxing. So if I start to come up at all, I want to wait until I relax again. And nothing here is rehearsed. It's all just kind of made up. We just kind of go with it. The more you relax, the more stuff will come to you. The more you'll get better at it, okay? So that's tension. And now the next piece that is really important in this video, that's really important, is vulnerability. If I'm standing here, and I've been talking about that, that's the dropping. Tension can be here, pushing. The vulnerability is relaxing down here and feeling my emotion. So if I'm way down here, relaxed, then what she feels through the tension is the vulnerability, which is like the water in a hose, electricity in the wire. First I get the tension, pushing, then I relax until I can feel the flow. And then I have to be willing to let her see me have emotion, which we're going to get a little bit more into later. Okay? But the two have to go hand in hand, and that's what I want to illustrate at the end of this video. One without the other doesn't work. Okay? Anything you want to add?
The master.
Well, thank you. I like that. You can say that on camera. How, in your opinion, how important is this ability? Not just in dating, but in relationships. The tension and the vulnerability. These two pieces, being able to dance in them and play in them. Not just in dating, but in relationships, even in business to some degree. This ability to feel.
Well, you need to balance.
Large degree, actually.
Both, of course.
Yeah. But how important do you think it is? When you see somebody that can't feel this, they're kind of oblivious to it. When they look at you, they're all over the place. What's your impression?
That they're self-absorbed. I don't know. They're
self-absorbed. Do you see this a lot?
Of course.
And how does it?
I don't think it's just a guy thing too. Girls can be that way too.
Oh, of course they can.
So
yeah.
I think we all walk around life just trying. trying not to reveal ourselves and
Yeah.
trying to protect ourselves.
Yeah. And some people, what I found, and you tell me if this is true for you, is they won't be able to do the connection thing. And this is probably really common with you guys, some of you guys, until they get to know somebody. And maybe 1 date in, 2 dates in, or getting to know somebody for a while, they finally start to relax and drop in with the person because they feel familiar and safe. And what I'm talking about is being able to do this with anybody, anywhere, anytime, and doing it appropriately. Because if you're in a business meeting or sales, you're not going to be saying the same stuff. You're not going to be turning as much sexual turn on as you're going to be, but you're still going to be giving a grounded, solid energy, which comes from feeling the lower body, the legs, which is then going to make them feel safe. So this is the importance of being able, everything goes off of the tension. The tension is the container. A building has to have tension to go up high. Artwork has to have a frame to express itself. A tree needs a tree trunk. So without the tension, we can't have the flirtation. And if I feel the tension and I don't let something express through it, then again, we can't have the flirtation. The artwork, the tension needs the artwork for expression. The building has everything going on inside of it. It's part of its expression. The tree has the tree branches and the leaves. The riverbank has the water. And that's what we're creating here. We're creating a flow between us with this. I'm hoping you're all getting this. This is something new. It's a new in a series where we're experimenting. So I may redo these once we get some of your comments to try to help you guys get it at a deeper level. This is subtler stuff that we usually only work with in our workshops and our seminars, where we do a lot of deep work around this stuff. And the reason that is because it's, in my opinion, it's kind of hard to convey in video. But if you're getting it, let me know. Or if you're getting part of it, let me know. And we can start adjusting the videos to help you get more information. Okay? So with that said, make sure you comment and tell me what you're seeing, what you're not seeing, what you're having trouble understanding, whether you're getting it, whether it's just completely oblivious to you, and then we can adjust from there. Also, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like if you like the video, and as always, only the confident really live. We'll see you in the next video.